The pardon board is called to order. Today is Monday, March 27th, 2023, time 8:30 a.m. Would you call the roll, please? Chair Relaxman, present. Madam Mayor Bellman.
Yep.
Here.
Darrell J.
Here.
Body Davidson. All right, we have four members present, so we need favorable decision today will require a unanimous vote. Our first item on our agenda this morning is review and approval of the minutes from the Monday, March 13, 2023 regular meeting, which are included in your package. Of any corrections? I'll entertain a motion to adopt the minutes.
Madam Chairman, I have reviewed the minutes from the March 13th board hearing, and all information is correct as printed. And I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes as printed.
We have a motion by Mr. Rocha, a second by Mr. Marabella. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Thank you. Our next agenda item is consideration of applications for clemency. Before we get started, I'd like to have staff here at DOC headquarters introduce themselves for the record.
Carla Williams, Whitney Trustworthy, Gail Guerin, and Jennifer King.
Francis Adams.
All right, thank you. And our first remote location this morning is at Plaquemines Parish Detention Center. And would the officer there please introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, ma'am. This is Lieutenant Tinson with Plaquemines Parish Detention Center.
Okay, thank you, sir. And we are ready for our case at your facility, Mr. Ansardi.
Yes, ma'am. I have Mr. Ansardi, and he has 6 members of his family that would like to speak on his behalf when y'all ready for him.
And we'll only allow 3 people to speak.
Okay.
So whenever they get in, and when we get to that point, I'll ask Mr. Ansardi who those 3 people will be.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Ansardi.
All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am and gentlemen.
Would you introduce yourself for the record? Tell us your name and your DOC number, please, sir.
Darrell Jude Ansardi, DOC number 603838.
And is your family there in the room with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Will you tell me who
No,
they
ma'am,
are?
they're not in the room. They're not in the room, meeting in another room.
Tell me their names so I can write them down for the record.
My dad is Charles Ansardi.
Okay.
My daughter is Brielle Landry.
What's our first name?
Brielle.
Ariel. Okay.
My son is Landon Ansardi.
Okay.
My son-in-law is Robert Landry.
Right.
My aunt is Carolyn Mooneyhan. And my uncle is Jerry Mooneyhan.
Now, I don't know if you heard me mention to the officer, only 3 of those people will be allowed to speak on your behalf.
Yes, ma'am.
And who those 3 will be?
Whoever wants to speak on my behalf.
3, you choose.
My dad. My daughter. And my aunt.
Okay, all right. And they'll each have 3 minutes to say what they need to say. Let me recognize, so at the appropriate time, we'll call them in to speak on your behalf.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me recognize the folks we have here with us in Baton Rouge today. We have Joanne Savoy, Leslie Jambone, Caitlin Jambone, Alfred Suri, Lelena Lobbit, and Britton Terrier. And 3 of those folks will also speak at the appropriate time. First, I'll read some information into the record. I ask you to verify that information, Mr. Ansardi, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Rocha. Your case has been assigned to him. He'll take the lead on the interview.
Yes.
At the very end, you'll be allowed to make a statement if you like before we vote.
And I'm
So you are Darrell J. Ansardi, DOC number 603838. You're here today seeking a commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced in Terrebonne Parish in October of 2012 for conviction manslaughter and obstruction of justice. You received a 25-year sentence. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Ansardi.
Good morning, sir.
Just sit back, relax, and we're gonna have a conversation, okay?
Yes, sir, I'm very nervous.
Yes. Madam Chairman, fellow board members, we have Darrell J. Ansardi, DOC number 603838. Mr. Ansardi is here this morning seeking a recommendation for a commutation of sentence for two 2012 convictions. The first conviction was for manslaughter in the death of his fiancee, Cheryl Gotro. The second conviction was for obstruction of justice for disposing the body along a lonely stretch of highway in Brookdale Yard, Louisiana, in the Bush Parish. The murder was committed in Terrebonne Parish. After Mr. Ansardi dumped Ms. Gotro's body, he sold the murder weapon to a local pawn shop in an effort to dispose of all the evidence. On March 8, 2011, he was arrested, originally charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice. On October 2nd, 2012, some 19 months after his arrest, he pled guilty to the amended charge of manslaughter and the charge of obstruction of justice. He was sentenced the same day to 25 years in a manslaughter case and 25 years for the obstruction conviction. Both sentences were to run concurrently for a total of 25 years. The applicant is currently 64 years old, and he was 52 years of age at the time of the offense. Mr. Ansardi has only been incarcerated for 12 years. Mr. Ansardi, tell the panel this morning exactly what happened that day in March 2011 when Ms. Gotro returned from attending a Mardi Gras parade.
Oh, yeah, okay. On Saturday afternoon, she left, and I didn't know where she had went. Okay. I tried calling her several times and no response. She didn't come on.
Tell us what happened.
Okay. What happened is when she come back, she couldn't drive, and under that, two other ladies brought her home. I helped her get in the house. She was drunk, and I put her on my couch, and I told her stay there. I went back outside and was working on my truck. When I came in that night, she was sitting there on the couch. She had my gun on a coffee table. She went to get up, and she had the gun in her hand. And when she started to fall, and I went to catch her, and we both fell down, and the gun went off.
In one version, and that was the version that you gave, but in one version, and I think that time you gave the statement, you said when you came in, y'all argued, then she went into the bedroom and got the gun. The other version, the gun was on the coffee table. Which is it?
When like I said, when she had the gun already. She went to go get, she don't want to get the gun, all right? And that's when we fell down. She had the gun in her hand and we both fell at the coffee table, and the gun went off.
So when did you call 911 to see if you could do anything from Ms. Gotro?
I did not, sir. I did not call 911. I panicked.
So tell me exactly what you did after that.
When I panicked, I just put it, like I said, I put a body in the back of the truck and I went up, dropped it off on a lonely road.
Like you were done, what, anything else?
No, sir.
How long before the body was discovered?
Couple of days.
So why did you sell the gun to a local pawn shop?
Sir,
Why did you sell the murder weapon to a local pawn shop?
I needed some money. I didn't have no cell phone or nothing. I didn't have no money. I needed money.
That's all, okay, okay. Let's continue. You have opposition from the legal community in the 32nd JDC, the judge, the DA's office. You have opposition from the victim's family. Mr. Ansardi, I see that you've been arrested on 2 occasions. Tell me what the first arrest was for.
I was arrested.
Yes, in year 2000.
Oh, 2000. Well, I was at a friend's house and we had an altercation with another friend. And I was beating on the trailer.
And you were arrested for what?
They put me for domestic.
According to your police report, aggravated assault, simple battery, and disturbing the peace.
Oh, that's it, sir. Yeah, I had them, I had put that out of my mind. I didn't even remember this anymore. I put that all behind me, sir.
And all those charges were dismissed by the DA's office. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, tell me, what have you done about your anger management problem? Because you have an anger problem. And what have you done since you've been incarcerated to do something about that particular problem?
I gave myself to God. I got closer to him and he's leading me every day in my path of walking with him and lead me in the right direction to do the right things.
And that's good. And I appreciate it. But what kind of rehabilitative programs have you completed to take care of your anger management problem?
Well, I was in a faith base. I had Bible studies. I had a global study. I took a semester of college and everything.
Great. Now, I see you completed Teach One, Reach One, Teach One, 12-step program. So tell me, what other programs have you completed in your 12 years of incarceration?
Like I said, I completed 1 semester of college, and I did the Bible studies, and I on average Bible study.
That's all. I'm going to make this easy on you. I'm going to call out some good time programs. You tell me whether you completed those programs or not. Victim awareness. Have you completed victim awareness?
What kind of program, sir?
Victim awareness.
I never had any kind of them programs here, sir.
Have you completed anger management?
I never had that here neither, sir.
Have you completed thinking for a change?
No, sir, I didn't have none of that.
Have you had any substance abuse treatment other than a 12-step program?
No, sir.
So you really hadn't had any rehabilitative program in 12 years that you've been incarcerated.
The reason
That's all. The only good time credit that I see is you completed a English and a history correspondence course, and you received 30 days credit for each one of those. You only have 60 days of good time credit on the books. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you haven't any good time programs in order to rehabilitate yourself. Is that correct?
On these anger management programs and thinking for a change in that, sir, they tell me I have too much time to get into them. I have
Okay,
to be short.
I understand that. I understand that. Thank you. The transition plan is in Pearl River, Louisiana, or Dave Vet, Louisiana. Is that correct?
I'm going in Pearl River, sir.
So you're going to Pearl River.
Yes,
Where
sir.
will you be working?
I'm gonna be working at Chauvin Brothers Tractors.
Okay, and that's in Ponchatoula?
No, that's in Belchase, sir.
Okay, so tell me, the live in Pearl River, which is almost on the Mississippi line, and then you're gonna drive all the way to Tangible Hole, Early, Jefferson, and you go work in Plaquemine Parish.
Yes, sir.
That's about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive each way. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you plan to do that every day?
Sir,
Plan to do a 2 hour drive to work and a 2 hour drive from work each and every day.
yes, sir.
Tell me what your current work assignment is at Plaquemine Parish.
I am a trustee right now. I work in the laundry room, washing clothes. I worked, others worked in the, excuse me, I'm nervous. I worked on a road crew out in the field. And, I worked at the Regions Bank, cleaning offices for the sheriff and that. And,
You also work in the kitchen, right?
and I also worked in the kitchen, sir.
Okay, and since we're talking about your work, I'm going to get into the record. We have a letter from the Warden at Plaquemine Parish Detention Center saying that you are a hard worker and that you get along with the offenders and with the staff.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about your disciplinary write-up. How many disciplinary write-ups have you had in 12 years of incarceration?
None.
You have not had one disciplinary write-up in 12 years of incarceration.
None.
Right. And what level trustee are you?
They don't grade us by level, sir. We're just a regular trustee.
Right. Tell me about any vocational skills that you might have.
I can do mechanic work. I can do, mechanic work, carpentry. I have that. I can cook.
Now, what was your occupation at the time of your incarceration?
As my occupation is as a trustee right now. I'm doing laundry.
Sir, listen up. What was your occupation at the time of your incarceration?
I was driving a truck, 18-wheeler. So I had a CDL license.
You're a truck driver,
Yes, sir.
in state or out of state?
In state.
Is Lieutenant Tinsel in the room?
No, sir.
Is he close by?
Yes, sir.
Would you ask him to come to the room, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Lieutenant Tinsel, we have a letter from your warden, but I'd like to know if you would like to add any remarks, comments, or observations about the time Mr. Ansardi has spent at Plaquemine Parish.
Yes, sir. He has been a model inmate because he's now he's been a good trustee. He's been a responsible trustee, and we haven't had any problems or anything with him. So, I mean, he has been doing well as a trustee, and he does his job well. and he follow orders well. So we have no issue with, Mr. Ansardi at all.
County Council,
Yes,
Mr. Ansari, at any time during your life of 64 years, have you had any problems with using illegal drugs or abusing alcohol?
I did alcohol, sir. Yes, sir, I did.
If you ever used any illegal drugs?
No drugs.
And how often did you drink?
I drank every day, sir.
Every day. And
Yes, sir.
how much you drink?
About 6 beers a day.
So you did a 6-pack a day, every day, 7 days a week.
Yes, sir.
Weekends, probably 2 or 3 6-packs,
1 6-pack a day,
even on the weekend.
even on the weekend.
How did you manage driving the truck and drinking that much alcohol each and every day?
It didn't affect me, sir. I drove every day. I was a dedicated truck driver for the company that I worked for. They needed me to work Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I worked all during the day, all half of the night. I was a dedicated worker, dedicated to my job.
Last question. On the particular Saturday we're talking about, and you were washing your car, did you drink a 6-pack while washing the car?
Yes, sir, I had.
So you were sort of intoxicated at the time you shot Ms. Gautreaux. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Another question? I have a question, Mr. Ansardi. When you were originally charged with second-degree murder,
Yes, ma'am.
and you agreed to a plea agreement for the charge to be reduced to manslaughter.
Yes, ma'am.
So based on that plea deal that you made, why are you submitting for a commutation of your sentence?
Ma'am,
Based on the agreement you made for the plea, why did you submit an application for commutation of your sentence?
why did I submit this clemency? That's what you're trying to say to me? I really don't understand the question.
You made a deal with the district attorney and the victim's family to agree to the 25-year sentence for manslaughter rather than the mandatory life sentence for second-degree murder. Based on the deal that you made, agreeing to 25 years, why are you submitting an application to have that sentence changed?
I've changed my life. I've changed my life, ma'am. I've bettered myself. I'm a changed person. I'm not like I used to be.
Okay. And are you enrolled in any programs now? I know you've moved around a lot during your periods of incarceration, so programs probably weren't easily available for you, but you've been at that facility well over a year. What are you enrolled in now?
I did my 1 semester of college while I was at.
What are you enrolled in now, today?
No, ma'am, I'm in nothing.
Okay, all right, thank you, sir. I have no other questions. We'd like to hear from your family, so if you could ask the lieutenant to call in your father and your daughter and your aunt.
You want all of them in here at one time, ma'am?
Good, I don't know, I'm leaving it up to the lieutenant.
Okay, thank y'all very much. Who wants to speak is my daddy, my daughter, and my aunt. All right. You want them all at one time? Or my daddy, Brielle, and my nanny, my aunt. And my aunt. How you doing, my boy? I'm all right there. You got nanny coming. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Sit you over there. You stand here.
Now we have the father, the sister,
Father,
the mother, and
Okay, thank you, Lieutenant. So, folks, I know that there were more of you who came who would like to speak, but we only allow for 3. That's why we call the 3 of you in, because Mr. Ansardi has chosen you all to speak on his behalf. You'll each have 3 minutes to say whatever you'd like us to know. So, could we start with the nanny, Aunt Carolyn? Go ahead, ma'am.
Well, I think he deserves to get out of here. He's a very good boy. And he don't deserve to be in here.
All right, ma'am. Go ahead.
And he's gonna come and live with me. Yeah, so. I don't know what else to say.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, ma'am. Brielle, we hear from you.
Ma'am, I do think that he deserves a second chance. He does have grandchildren that he has never seen. He's gonna have 2 new grandchildren coming in this upcoming year. And I mean, I think he did do wrong, but I really feel that he has learned his lesson. And I really think that he will do good now. And I'm really hoping that he can get out and be able to be in myself and my brother's lives and his grandchildren and try to just have a normal life now with us. So if you all can find it in your hearts to give him a second chance, we'd really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mr. Charles Ansardi.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, sir.
I know he did wrong, but he should be out. I really need him. I'm getting old, I need somebody to take care of it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you all for being here this morning. We appreciate your input. We're going to hear now from the folks who are here with us and who want to speak in opposition. Could we hear from Ms. Savoy?
Click on the other side. Yeah, I have my beautiful. I think also, boy.
Speak up a little bit, please.
Okay, listen. My name is Dwayne Southwater. And this is what I want to tell y'all. One thing he did to us that we had to deal with, Sheridan was a beautiful, small person. He shot her with a 357 and dumped her in a ditch of water for several days, which the sun and the water wasn't kind to her body. The sun bleached her hair and the water changed the color of her skin. And changed the color of her skin and water trailed her body. She had beautiful green eyes and that turned white and were bulging out of her head. Attached to her body were maggots. So when it came time to make funeral arrangements, because of the condition of her body, we couldn't put it in a casket so we could say our last goodbye and kiss her goodbye. And this is the memory we'll have about her for the rest of our lives. Rest in peace, Sheridan. We love and miss you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Leslie?
I'm the first president, Sheridan. We were very festive. For the same. We accepted a plea of 25 years. We thought that was fair. I think it's standing here today. I still agree it's fair. We already gave Darrell a favor. We could have pushed forward with his charge of second degree murder and put him away for life.
And so we gave him a break. From our family, he has had a break. I feel what we gave Darrell is hope. That one day, maybe he can get out. I'm sure he's hopeful today. We have no hope ever to get Sherry, no matter what. Darrell has a history of domestic violence. He would like it to sound like this is something that happened that night between him and Sherry. When Sherry died, a girl contacted me because she saw my name in the paper. And he offered condolences and said, you know, this could be my mom. Because that there was domestic abuse on that, and she had to get a restraining order to stay away from him, to get him away from her. So he also, it's a pattern for him. He also has a problem of alcoholism. The original murder case had to be backed up several times because Darrell was suffering cirrhosis of the liver from alcoholism. His violence is triggered by alcohol. I think that's a big part. He gets drunk and he killed somebody. I feel that if he's released, combined with alcoholism and his violence, that he could continue or do this to somebody else. We have no choice but to accept our sentence, and that's life what I'm showing. We beg today that those are hidden.
Ms. Tyrion?
And I'm in the dark. Of Cherokee. My request today is very simple. Darrell Ansardi should not be granted early release. I alone, when I leave, I'm going to do. Today, I'm not happy. It has been exactly 12 years and 20 days since I learned of my mother's murder. And I was 22 years old at the time. And I was 23 years old to have to go through. My mother was a victim of domestic violence. And she was there for them. Darrell Ansardi. She finally had enough and tried to leave. It was if no one can have you, or if I can have you, and he did. This was no accident, and we settled for 25 years. All the times that I wanted to call my mother, I couldn't. For all the times I wanted to visit her, I couldn't. I got married in 2021. And in my mother's place, I had a chair for her with a picture of her. Her there. Go by the stories that my family told them. What a beautiful woman she was. She had such a big heart. And she would give her, give you the shirt off her back. She loved her hand and dearly. But it was taken away in a split second for the sudden acts. Darrell was happy. Darrell Ansardi disposed of my mother's body like she was. And I could not say goodbye. I could not keep turning. And keep her out there. A proper funeral. And no one was able to give her the water, the final goodbye that she undoubtedly deserved. So please, my family, I should not here today to keep them where he is. Thank you. And now I'm begging you to please.
All right, Mr. Ansardi, is there a statement you would like to make to the board before we vote? You're on mute, we can't hear you. You're still on mute, sir. May need to get the lieutenant to help you unmute him. There we go. Okay, sir, go ahead.
I thank y'all, the board, for taking this time out and this opportunity of hope. And both of the families for the remorse of what they have against me. I've changed my life and I gave my life to God. And I'm a changed man. And I thank y'all. God bless.
All right, thank you, sir. I think the board's prepared to vote. Mr. Roche will be voting first.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Ansari, my decision today is based on your lack of rehabilitative programs, overwhelming express opposition by the victim's family, opposition from the legal community, law enforcement, DA's office, and simply, Ms. Ansari, insufficient time served for a murder of an individual and the dumping of our body. My vote is to deny your request.
Mr. Roche, Mr. Marable.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'd like to thank everybody for being here today on both sides. It's very difficult to come to these hearings, and we appreciate your comments today. Mr. Ansardi, there are a lot of factors that go into us making our decision. The facts of the case, clearly. I don't know that you were honest with us about what really happened. I don't know that you know. You might have been drunk at the time and can't remember exactly what happened. I don't know. Got an excellent deal with the district attorney's office, and I'm absolutely certain that the victim's family agreed to that sentence. They expected you to do the full 25 years. Now, that's a fact. That's not controlling, but that's certainly a factor. The other factors that's clear to me from this interview today, as well as reviewing your documentation, is you're an alcoholic and you've got a serious drinking problem and you've got an anger problem. And you haven't really addressed those things yet. You have a good prison record. That's very important. But you're in a very structured environment. I think you need more work. I think that you need to get a sobriety plan in place. You need to do some anger management. And I think that you also need to take some courses on victim impact, what your crime and the cover-up did to the family. So my vote today would be likewise. Good luck to you.
Mr. Friedman.
Okay, as Mrs. Marabella said, I also want to thank the family for coming here and participating today. I personally can't understand what you're going through, but I can tell it's very trying. And the bottom line to me is he's just not serving. So my vote is like my comrades, I vote for them.
All right, Mr. Ansardi, and I do concur with my colleagues. My vote today is to also deny for the reasons that have already been stated. So today, sir, your application for clemency has been denied.
Thank you.